Here's what's left of that bushing that was in the front. As you see, it got jammed down and made a channel inside where the grease was actually supposed to go, but it got real thin. You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. Time's come. We got a box of parts right here for this. And they ain't gonna put themselves in here. So this front axle, as you see, is leaking. And it's got a little bit of a wiggle, more than it should. So I got seals, shims, bushings, we got everything, but we got to get it pulled apart to get it changed out. So as you see, 4 bolts here, there's 4 in the back, and then you got the U-joint. I'm hoping everything comes apart easy, but that's usually not our case, right? So let me get it started up. I did just notice it was having trouble losing prime. I did just notice that this line right here was brazed at one point, not with me, but it's all wet. So I did just pump it up, and I was sitting here listening and it was running back. So we got to get that line, I guess, too. Always something. Let me make sure it's pumped up and we'll get it started. Yeah. Got it pulled out, gonna let it warm up a little bit. It was parked like this. I'm gonna park it straight. That way I got plenty of room to get to both sides in case I have to bring something in. But we'll get, yeah, you can see where it was sitting because it was leaking. But pull it out. Started right up once I primed it, so we gotta get that line made up and then it will be good to go. But let's take a moment and enjoy the beauty of a 7520. I'll let it, really hasn't been run since I moved it in here, and before that really not much, so I'll let it hang out and then we'll back it in and see if we can get that axle pulled. The camera was set at the wrong speed here, so it's on time lapse, but as you see, there's hydraulic oil dripping down the front end and onto the ground, along with on the other side of the motor. So I believe the case drain at this point was ripped through, rubbed through, pinched, and it blew out, and it's just dumping hydraulic oil back down. So I did pull it out, and it sat for a little bit running, and then we backed it in, and then I noticed the issue. So another thing to do, but we'll get it done. So these bolts come out nice and easy. I got 2 loose, I got 2 still tight. The back, I got the middle ones out, but the outside ones, they changed all the sizes differently, which is crazy. So back here, hopefully down in there, there's 2 that face up, so the nuts are on the top, so I can't break them free. So I'm thinking I come down from the top here and then I can loosen them up, but it's full of mud and I should have done a better job of cleaning this thing, but down in there you can't clean it either way. So we'll see what we can do. Ideal working conditions here. Dripping oil. These bolts are out that are in here. This one's loose, I just left it there for safety purposes. These 2 I thought went up and there was nuts on the other side, but see how there is no nuts, it's just dirt. So we're gonna get those 2 out. I think they just thread through this block, which is kind of odd. Okay, good thing we got Carter here. He's saving the day, because we got a pipe And we've got one out so far, and they're just threaded up, but yeah, it's been 48 years probably since they were last out, so you know, let's send it some more. Yep. We got the muscle. Okay. We'll go over to the other side. You getting a workout today, huh?
Yeah.
So Carter specifically came out to do this.
Yeah.
He's actually paid professional.
This one will be way better. I can pull it towards me. Can I get it to click again? No.
I can probably get it. It's going. Even lost the heat waves.
Yeah.
That didn't go enough. Can you get that or no? Yeah. There you go. One more. Okay. Now I gotta jack those back up so that the thing doesn't fall on us. Come out with that. Now we're getting it. There's nothing holding that front axle on other than the weight of the tractor. We did get it up, and then it fought us to get those last bolts out. So now we're just gonna jack it up, see what goes on. We were splitting it, but we made the executive decision that laying underneath there with your head against there probably isn't the best thing. And I was like, hey, we got an air jack. So we're gonna grab that. I'll let the pressure off that. We'll throw that in. There we go. So that popped out, which that's normal. So we got everything to go in here, seals, gaskets, the other side. It still had some oil in it, which is good, but yeah. Told you it was coming out today. I did tell Carter 30 minutes, but we ran into those 4 bolts, so minus the 4 bolts and maybe a jack change, I think we did it in 30 minutes. Yeah. But I'll set this down, we'll put the stands underneath it, and then I'll go to work on that. Got set up for teardown. So that side, here's how everything is. You got some shims, and then you got your plates. So that is tore down. This was that $600 pin. That looks good. Minor little grooves up here, nothing too crazy, no wears. This though is supposed to have a groove channel inside of it. You can see that is where it's supposed to be, and it wore all down, and then there's a groove channel that's supposed to be inside of it for grease to go around. So that was shot. The whole reason we took this out was because it was pivoting too much, And a lot of people saw that in videos and said, hey, make sure you fix that before it gets too bad and destroys some stuff. So we'll pop that yoke off. That whole housing should come off. Then we can start working on it. So we got seals, bushings, shims. So there's a bushing inside of here. There's a seal right here. That all comes out. The oil was coming out of it. So at least it still had some oil in it. We will drain the oil and then refill the oil. So we got fresh oil in there, which is a no-brainer. But let's pop that other side off. Keep going. Carter left, so I appreciate Carter was out here. They were partying last night and he stopped in, so I appreciate his help, because yeah, one person doing some of this stuff is just more challenging. I would have got it, but not nearly as quick. So Carter gave me a big hand, especially breaking those loose that had been sitting in there forever. And what we learned was there's dowel pins that go around this that line out all of this up. So putting it back together is going to be a little bit of a chore, but we'll get it. All right, can we break this free? There it goes. So the pin and everything else came out actually pretty nicely. Oh. That is heavy as anything. Where's my drain bucket? So that actually came off amazingly smooth. So we got this big washer. Goes around the back side of it. Putting the stuff together as it goes. So then we remember it. And there's a big bushing inside of there that goes in. Or big, yeah, I guess it would be bushing. We'll let that drain out for a minute. Noticing a few things. Well, that is not supposed to be like that. That's all pushed out and wore out. That is supposed to be this, I believe. Yep. So it's supposed to be nice and smooth. And it is not at all like that. The other thing I noticed, I did not get that bushing that goes around here, and it's got a wicked groove to it. I don't know how I didn't realize. I wasn't thinking. I was thinking about everything here. So here's the plate for this. We got shims. We got seals. This is the inner one that goes in there. This goes on the other side. It goes onto here. Yep. But I'm missing that, so I got to get that overnighted. That way we can throw this back together as soon as possible. Also got more, all the pieces for it, except for that one that we need. So I think, what do we got? Yep, that looks like an empty bag. There's something in there. Well, yep, my mess up. So notched it with a Sawzall, which I don't know if that's the best way of doing it, but came out and no damage to any of that. We just got some metal floating around. There's no ring in the back, so we just got to clean that up and we'll start reassembling. New one. Oh, that fits beautifully. Not much at all. We got the seal, so we'll tap that right in here. Got it all cleaned up. It's gonna slide right in, right? Need a little bit of force. Got the bushing in, gonna put the seal in. Was just looking up, making sure I'm putting things back together. I looked up this. That is what it is. There's not two pieces to this. So a new one of these yokes from Deere or from sources elsewhere, $728 for this. So yeah, let's not mess it up. You can get a used one from Abilene for $82, but yeah. So that just must be on it, and that just must be normal. It does feel like it's set in there, but I am looking up everything. So I got enough stuff to pull. Let me get you guys some more light. I got enough stuff to pull that whole cover off, but if the bearings are tight, there's no point in pulling the cover off, because we're not going to put bearings in it. So I'll feel it and we'll see. Then we'll put a new seal in, and then it can go back together. Hopefully I got enough spacers to make it work properly on the other side to tighten it up. I did get, yeah, I got all sorts of spacers, so, and shims and O-rings, but it's draining out. Throw that seal in and be good there. So this was the side of the seal that was actually leaking. This is the front. So we're good there. That actually cleaned up really well. That bushing went really well in. So we're cleaned up. We got to put the right shims when we put it back together, which I think some of that is trial and error, making sure you're tight against it so it doesn't have slop back and forth. But that side's good. I got this bar holding me up. It's getting a little late here, but let me pick up all of my tools and we'll flip it over to the other side. So if everybody remembers, inside here there's 2 sets of bearings, and they were, I think together they were like $400. Yeah, they feel really good. So, and they say made in the USA, I can see right in there. So we're gonna leave those alone. I do have the gasket that goes around this, but if we're not taking it apart, we ain't touching it then. So that's all done inside of there. But what we got to do is take this, well, first we got to take this snap ring off, which is going to let us slide this bushing that is absolutely garbage. Yeah, so bad. Once we get it off, hopefully it comes off nice and easy, and we can actually compare. Okay, snap ring. Ooh. Yeah, I got snap ring pliers a while back. That has saved me. I did get a new snap ring go on there. Okay. We're gonna have to use some force on that, I'm sure. That is crazy how worn out that is. Okay, I guess the best thing that's gonna happen is it's gonna break into pieces because it is so thin. At least that one broke into pieces, which is perfectly fine if it wants to break into pieces, as long as we can keep breaking it and get all the way through. That's gonna make it move. I did pick the narrow spot because that's where it sits with all the weight. Okay, now I got it moving. That's what I've been trying to do. Once it's moving, then you can sneak it behind, but it wasn't moving at all. It was so tight. There we go. See how that? Okay. From there. Yeah. Had to break a bunch off and just cut into it, get it weaker. There you go. Okay, so let's check this out. Here it is. Pretty wore down. It's supposed to look like this. Have a groove in it. Not be like that. So, clearly, when we line things up, it is way thinner. That was probably our biggest issue. So that's gonna just slide right back onto there. And then this one is going to go inside of here. And as you see, same thing. Very well gone. Went and heated it up. Oh yeah. There you go. That. So once it cools down, it's going to shrink. I ran. So I went to the shop and heated it up. And then better put the snap ring on, make sure it's good. But whew, yeah, just got it warm enough that it expanded, went on without fighting anything. So heat and freezing, definitely your friends. As far as freezing though, maybe we'll take this bushing, we'll take this one that goes over that, throw it in the freezer tonight, and then tomorrow we'll throw it in there. We'll throw it in the walk-in freezer because that's extremely cold. So, but then it should shrink down enough that it should drop right in instead of fighting it. That's the big thing. So really glad that worked the way it did. Let me throw the snap ring on though before it gets warm, and if it's not in the right spot. Part of me thinks I should change these bearings while I'm at it, but the fact, it's hot now, so let me grab some gloves. The fact that, yeah, things are as good as they are in there. Nope. And changing anything in this axle really ain't that bad. These, at least this, well, this outside one could come out and we could grab it, change it, but getting the cone out. I guess we could change this one actually in it. Take your U-joint out, your yoke, unbolt that, and it slides out. But yeah, I'm not that worried. That is on there, snap rings on there. Yeah, that is so much better. So, old one, you can see all the wear marks. New one, I bet that new one, just with this housing here, I know it's dark to some degree, I gotta get some lights up. Somebody did send me some lights and I gotta throw them up. Forget who it is, but I think that will make my life a lot easier. And then I gotta pull some power over here or something, find some power. So, but yeah, some lights that went across the top. Alrighty, so that's good. Pulled the seal out. Let's put the new seal in. Is this hot still? It is. It transferred some. We'll hold on to the new seal. Let's pull that housing out, and then we'll put the new seal in after it cools down a little bit. Here's what's left of that bushing that was in the front. As you see, it got jammed down and made a channel inside where the grease was actually supposed to go, but it got real thin. There was not much life left to that, but clearly I got it out and I got the other one in. So it took a little bit of finesse, but it is extremely tight in there, which that's what we want. So yeah, make sure you grease those things up. So I'm gonna grease it, spin it around, grease it some more, and then we're gonna throw the yoke on. I don't think I'll be able to get this in by myself. That just goes in once it's flipped over, and I got some help tomorrow. We'll slide it back in, and then we'll be in a good place. So this is upside down right now, don't mind that. So it usually sits like this. So whew. This is going okay. I appreciate Carter with the help. Otherwise we still would be doing what we're doing. Yeah, pretty surprised at how well it's going together, because if this slides underneath, we fix that hydraulic line that blew out. I think it's the case drain, but we got to start it up and just see, and then we fix that, and this is going to go into some tillage work this week. Empty Deere bags, wore out parts, front end that's ready to go back in. So that's all on. Looks absolutely killer, all greased up, much better. Same with the rear. The bushing's good. Well, bushing's new, seal's new. The front, the other side's the front, this is the rear. Whew, losing my mind. That pin's good, so when it slides in, it's nice and tight. This thing's gonna be mint. So tomorrow we'll get that line figured out that blew or leaks or what happened there. That was odd. And we'll slide this underneath, and then after that, it's coming out, getting hooked to the chisel plows. It's gonna do some work. So appreciate you guys watching along. The manure pit is full again, like full to the point where it's backing up into the barn. So tomorrow we are gonna start spreading manure. Probably I still got some trailer work to do on both trailers. Actually, I gotta get the nurse boom set up on the one trailer, and that shouldn't take me too long. Probably get some help, and we're gonna get hydraulic lines made for the other trailer. Got to get some nuts and bolts and little stuff, honestly, little stuff to do. So, and we'll probably start spreading. Not everything's here yet as far as the connectors for the joysticks, so, or for the controls, the remote. So we might have to do some messing around there, and we're not completely painted, stuff like that, but we got to do a trial run at some point here, and we got to get going. So I appreciate you guys watching along though. Little 7520 action. We got it started, we pulled it out, we messed around, we fixed what was broke. Yeah, that is a lot better. So alrighty, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.